Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a concept that might just completely change how you think about your own emotions. We're going to reframe them from something you just passively feel into something you can actually direct.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That physical tension you feel before a huge presentation, or maybe a tough conversation you've been putting off. It can feel like this overwhelming physical force.
Okay, so stick with me here because this is where it gets really fascinating. What if that feeling isn't just in your head? The source material for this explainer, which comes from M.Curzi's book, The Interface, suggests that these emotions are tangible, measurable energy fields.
So normally, we think of emotions as a reaction to stuff that happens to us. But this new idea completely flips that script. It suggests your emotional state is the event, that you are actively shaping your reality by broadcasting a specific frequency out into the world.
And the core idea here is something called magneto-electric fields. It's basically the theory that every single emotional state you experience, stress, joy, focus, you name it, generates its own unique energy field. And this field, it doesn't just stay inside you, it actually influences how well you can think and how others around you react.
So, if we're all walking around generating these fields, what happens when they're powered by negative emotions? Well, this is where we get to see how stress can become this, silent saboteur in our lives.
And this, right here, illustrates the two basic states we can find ourselves in. On one side, you've got the chaotic field. That's born from stress and anxiety. It's messy, it's disordered, and it totally blocks your focus. But on the other side, you've got the coherent field, which is all about harmony, calm, and clarity.
So let's just dig into that chaotic field for a second. When you're feeling totally overwhelmed by stress or fear, you're basically broadcasting what the source calls a discoherent frequency. And this messy signal, it jams your own brain, making it so much harder to think straight. The analogy here is just perfect. It's like a bunch of musicians all playing different songs in different keys all at once. It's just noise, and that noise makes you vulnerable.
But, and this is a big but, here's the good news. There's an antidote to all that chaos. It's all about achieving a state of coherence. This is how we turn that noise into actual music. So what exactly is this coherent field? The source describes it as a state of total alignment, where your thoughts and your emotions are just perfectly in sync. This is what creates that amazing feeling of flow, where you're just performing at your best effortlessly. Instead of that chaotic noise, you now have a perfectly tuned orchestra. And this state, it doesn't just feel good. It literally acts like a magnet for focus and creativity.
And get this isn't just a theory. The source shares this incredible story from a teacher who was dealing with chronic stress. She learned how to calm her own emotional field before walking into her classroom, and she noticed this huge shift. Her calm was contagious. The students settled down, the entire vibe of the room just transformed. It's a perfect example of how one person's coherent field can totally influence a whole group.
Okay, so how do we actually do this, right? How do we make that shift from chaos to coherence? Well, the source lays out a super simple 3-step action plan you can start using like today.
All right, first up is a technique that pretty much everyone, from Navy SEALs to top surgeons, uses: box breathing. And its power is its simplicity. All you're doing is breathing in a steady 4-second rhythm. You inhale, you hold, you exhale, you hold. Let's just try it real quick. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Seriously, just doing that 3 to 5 times can make a world of difference.
So why does something so simple work so well? Well, it's because your breath is the most direct way you have to control your nervous system. This technique is like an immediate reset button for your body's stress response system. It literally tells your body to pump the brakes on the stress hormone cortisol and flip on your rest and digest mode. You're physically telling your body and your emotional field that it's okay to calm down.
Okay, next up, a physical one. Your body language doesn't just reflect how you feel. It's a tool you can use to change how you feel. So if you can, try this right now. Stand up tall, plant your feet firmly on the ground, roll your shoulders back, and just put your hands on your hips. We're going for that confident, open stance. All you got to do is hold this power pose for 2 minutes.
And the science behind this is just wild.
Research actually shows that when you hold a powerful posture like this, it sends signals to your brain that change your body chemistry. In just 2 minutes, this stance can lower your cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, and at the same time increase testosterone, which is tied to feelings of confidence. So by changing your physical shape, you are literally bending your emotional field towards strength. And finally, let's take this from an individual thing to a group thing. Remember that teacher we talked about? You can intentionally create a collective, coherent field in a meeting or a classroom or even with your family. Try starting with just 2 minutes of shared silence. Guide everyone to just focus on their breathing, and then lead them in a quick visualization of a positive, successful outcome for whatever you're about to do together.
The reason this works so well is that, like we said, emotional fields are contagious. We're constantly, unconsciously reading and reacting to the energy of the people around us. This little exercise gets everyone in sync. It transforms a room full of individual chaotic fields into one big, powerful, coherent one. It aligns the entire group to a common frequency of focus and calm, and that just makes everything flow so much better.
So after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's really a profound shift in how we see ourselves. Your inner state isn't just a passenger along for the ride of life. No, it's actually in the driver's seat.
And that brings us to maybe the most important point of all. Stop seeing your difficult emotions as some burden you just have to suffer through. Instead, start seeing them as energy, an incredibly powerful tool that you have the ability to consciously shape and direct.
And this final quote from the source material,
It just says it all. You are the conductor of your own inner orchestra. The power is already there, inside you. It's just waiting for you to pick up the baton and bring everything into alignment.
So that leaves us with one last question. With these tools in your pocket, whether it's just taking a single conscious breath, or changing your posture, or sharing a moment of silence, how are you going to choose to tune your field today?